writers. Today we are going to learn how to reread like detectives. We want to make sure our writing makes sense and sounds right. The previous day we talked about how we can zoom in on important details. Today we're going to look closely at our writing just as detectives look closely at clues. We want to be sure that our writing has correct punctuation. Punctuation is using commas, periods, exclamation marks, and question marks. Today I want to teach you that writers reread to make sure both that their writing says what they want it to say and that it makes sense. They look for end punctuation. To build this writing habit, it can help to stop after each page. Reread the page and ask yourself, did I use punctuation on this page so that it makes sense? I want you to watch as I do a punctuation check on my writing. As I reread, I'll consider whether the writing will make sense to my reader. You are my reader. And if not, I'll decide where I need punctuation and what kind of punctuation I need. Watch as I do this so you can think along with me. If you think I need punctuation, just put your thumb up like this. Okay, so this is my second page that talks about the telling stories and casting. Now remember my first page was getting my gear ready. And now I'm on to the second page talking about the next step in my story. So I'm going in order, beginning, middle, and end. Okay, so I want you to put a thumbs up if you hear something, if you hear a part of my story that needs a different punctuation or needs a punctuation added to it. Cast and reel and cast and reel. My dad and I shared memories and stories as we repeated our fishing routine. Now, did anyone catch my first punctuation error that I might need to go back and put a punctuation in? Yes, right here. I used and a lot. I use it 3 times in one sentence. So I could either cross off this right here, or I can write a sticky note. So maybe I want to say, I'll put it right here, cast and reel, period, and then start with an uppercase C again, cast and reel, period. So now I know that I'm going to put a 1 here and put it on my sticky note. So I know that I'm going to write this instead of writing this on my final. So now it says cast and reel, cast and reel. Remember, the punctuation gives the reader a chance to breathe. So you kind of do a little pause after you see a period, a comma, an exclamation mark, or a question mark. Cast and reel, cast and reel. My dad and I shared memories and stories as we repeated our fishing routine. Musky fishing is always a lot more talking and casting and not catching fish consistently. Now, as I'm going back and rereading what I have on this one page, I am looking here and I have kind of my sentence just keeps going. Musky fishing is always a lot more talking and casting and not catching fish consistently. So I think I have too many ands again. I'm going to take out this and over here, put a period here. Now it says musky fishing is always a lot more talking and casting. It gives the reader time to breathe when I put that period in there. And then I think I'm going to change up this sentence right here. So I'm going to grab a sticky note. I think I'm going to write, not so much consistently catching fish. So I'm going to put a 2 on the top of my sticky note, and I know that instead of writing this part right here, I'm going to write, if I see my 2, I'm going to write my 2 on my sticky note instead. This way I don't have such a long sentence because I broke it apart into 2 separate sentences. I finished with a period, and then I started here with an uppercase. So let me reread that part. Musky fishing is always a lot more talking and casting. Not so much consistently catching fish. The day was passing by and I almost gave up hope until suddenly, ... That means that leaves the reader thinking, well, what's going to happen next? Now, we did this last time, but I talked about here my huge bite. So we talked about this last week, but I went back and I reread my page, and I fixed some errors and gave a reader a chance to breathe. Because if you don't have any punctuation, it doesn't give that reader a chance to breathe. So now that I've done that for one page, I want to make sure I'm doing it for the whole story so that I am double checking that I have 1, details, like we talked about last week, and 2, punctuation. So now if there's a family member at home that has time to help you, or maybe you need to wait for a different day for them to help you, maybe have them go and reread your story so that they can help you add some punctuation in your story. Make sure you go back and reread all your pages and see what details that you need to add and what punctuation are you missing. Maybe you have too many ands in one sentence. Maybe you maybe you forgot to put a period somewhere. So if you want a sentence to add excitement, maybe you want to use an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence. Maybe if you want to ask a question or leave the reader thinking more, maybe you want to put a question mark at the end of your sentence. Maybe if you want to have dialogue, you could add quotation marks in between the words. So this way the reader knows that someone is talking. Another thing that I want to talk about going over and rereading while you're rereading your story is to not only look for punctuation, but also look for spelling. So sometimes you're not sure how to spell a word, and when you go back and reread, you might notice that one word doesn't look quite right. So as you're rereading your whole story, I want you to circle any words that don't look quite right spelling-wise. So when I look at soaking doesn't look quite right to me. So what I want to do is circle all the words that don't look quite right to me. I still have to finish my writing my page here. But I'm going to take a sticky note, or you can make a little line in your notebook. And I want to think of different ways that I think I could write the word soaking. So what I know about long O vowel sounds, so oak, I know that, like in the word poke, I know this silent E on the end makes this a long O vowel sound. So maybe one of the ways I could try to spell soaking is like this. Silent E is making this a long O vowel sound. I also know that in like the word floating, this A after the O, 2 vowels next to each other, O does the talking and A does the walking. So this A right here makes O say its name. So maybe I could try soaking. I also know that, like in the word kick or lick, the CK can also make the K sound. So maybe I want to write soaking. So here's three different ways that I could spell it, but what is the correct way to spell it? I know this one doesn't look quite right, so let's look at my other options that I wrote down. Which one do you think looks right for soaking? Right, I think this one looks like the correct spelling, so I'm going to write it small here. Soaking. Now I can also look at a word wall. I know we're not in the classroom to look at a word wall, but I could also look in a dictionary. I could use different resources to help me figure out what's the correct way to spell soaking. So I want you to look back for words that you think might be spelled incorrectly and circle them in your story. So looking for punctuation and correct spelling of words.